Nothing. But it's valuable. It's what you think it is. Well, how advanced is that idea? It is what you think it is. And if enough people think it's something, then it is.
I think regulation is going to have to come from Congress. A sufficient will by the SEC to seriously consider the challenges of these issues within their legacy framework.
You were perhaps one of the first who said, wait, I'm just going to give up everything and I'm going to make my organization decentralized because regulation is not clear and it's not likely to be. So that's the way to go forward. Is that correct?
Yeah. I actually don't like the platitude of regulatory clarity. Okay. Everyone says that. I just want less regulation. Okay. Just like straight less would be great. I don't care how clear it is. I just want less of it.
The ledger systems that our traditional financial system run on, both in the banking system and in the securities system, are not honest ledgers.
When we talk to governments, that they don't want to miss the Web3 train.
Wow.
There is a conversation around how, when you think about the rest of the world, with the exception of the US and to some extent China, they really have become effectively colonized by American Web2 technologies. Everything is dependent on whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn or Amazon, whatever. They have absolutely no more sort of tech sovereignty in their own countries and nations. So when you see governments saying we want to have a Web3 strategy, it isn't just because they look at the entrepreneurial activity. It's that they want to unshackle themselves from the dependency of US technology.
If we have to go to court to get that clarity, it's unfortunate. It does reflect in many ways a failure of our legislative and regulatory process, but Coinbase is prepared to put the resources and time and energy into that.
Great businesses are built over 4, 5, 10, 20 years, not 6 or 8 months.
And no matter what happens with our regulation and our government, the value proposition of being able to prove ownership of a digital asset cannot and will not change. And we need to continue to celebrate that and understand that all of these other things are built on top of that, and they're additive.
Really great movie out right now called Air. We came out of the movie going, that was the most Web3 movie ever, because Jordan's mom insisted that Michael got a cut of every shoe moving forward. It was transformative, not just for shoe endorsement deals, but for how all people were looking at the relationships between companies and consumers.
We're going to have public hearings for the next couple of months and build out a bill that deal out of the Ag Committee, now the Financial Services Committee, that does what is necessary for bringing clarity to digital assets.
Let's be clear, absolutely clear, there is nothing inherently superior about non-sovereign digital currency and protecting privacy over central bank digital currency. Nothing whatsoever. Both of them will be massive honeypots of users' financial data, creating the opportunity for wide-scale mischief and abuse.
And this is the first time I've ever seen that our industry was brought into what some people consider to be a bear market by the macro economy.
And the bear markets are when we are supposed to introspect. This is the time to say, okay, what did we learn? The bear markets are not over until we realize what mistakes we made in the night before.
So the next 6 to 9 months are going to be difficult because there is probably going to need to be, a few startups are probably going to die because right now they are doing stuff for free in Web3 and they're not going to survive very long.
Not a lot of people know that NFTs actually started on Bitcoin, like through Counterparty. People are shocked to realize that, right? Like most people associate NFTs with Ethereum.
Well, we want to appease the audience, and fans definitely have their say. They know what at least they think they know what they want. But what is great, because like you said, a lot of times you say with fan fiction, this is really a way to have the fans say like, well, we are curious. We are interested to see which direction you want this to go.
Desi, is AI going to take our jobs?
Certainly yours. I don't know about mine.
I'm not sure if I will take our jobs, but I can tell you one thing for sure. I will continue to redefine how we live, think, and interact with the world. It's an exciting time to be alive and witness the amazing changes AI will bring.
Okay, we are live and this was amazing. So ये हमारी टीम का एक छोटा सा कोशिश था आप सभी को कंसेंसस 2023 मीट का एक छोटा सा ग्लिम्स देने का. अब बात करेंगे कंसेंसस 2023 के बारे में, लेकिन उसके पहले लेट मी गिव यू माय इंट्रोडक्शन. आई एम शांभवी सोनी, योर होस्ट फॉर टुडेज AME. And in this session, we'll be having one of the live viewers, somebody who actually watched this entire Consensus 2023 meet by CoinDesk, Mr. Sathvik Vishwanath, the CEO and the founder of Unocoin. He knows every insight, I think, the most important things that were there happening in that particular event about Consensus 2023, about the crypto world, about the Web3 business. So, Satvik here will tell you about this. We'll start off. And as I see, we already have a lot of questions in our comment section. Mein. So, Randhir is saying hi. Suhas is saying hi. Amar Tripathi will take your question, but we'll just get started with the topic quickly. Hi, Satvik. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Shambhavi. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. So, Satvik, I just saw this glimpse and it was so energetic. I mean, the way people were talking. This is something I feel connects the Web3 world, the way, people behave, there's certain reaction to a certain technology. So, talking about Consensus 2023, Satvik, what would you say about this particular meet, its impact, its significance, and what it is overall?
Yeah, this is a conference that happens in US every year. So it's actually organized by CoinDesk, one of the very reputed portals when it comes to the crypto industry, and it's actually a subsidiary of one of our investors, Digital Currency Groups, actually. So in this particular conference, generally speaking, we look at what are the key takeaways from the industry from the last year, right? So what are the things that has happened, and what should have happened, what shouldn't have happened, and how we could have avoided it. And this time there was a lot of talk about the collapse of FTX and associated exchanges and crypto funds. And then it was discussion about how it could have avoided. And on the other side, we also look at the bright side, right? So what we will need for the industry to succeed over a period of time, especially on the technology front and also on the regulatory front. So yeah, all in all, we actually have experts or the founders, co-founders, or the senior CXOs from major crypto companies. It could be like Circle, or we can talk about Bitco or Coinbase. So they usually have some kind of representations, and they put forward their thought process, where they think we are and what could have done better, and how we can continue from wherever we are technically and in the regulatory sense, I think.
I think, Satvik, this is something really great because when this happened, sorry about that, by the way. So, when this happened, this entire meet, we saw so many people saying so many things about regulatory changes because that is actually a topic of talk right now when it is coming to, the US crypto regulations. And we have a question here related to Coinbase, like you mentioned. Amar Tripathi here is asking, why is Coinbase not accessible in India? So, Satvik, if you don't mind, I have a one line to answer this, but you'll of course elaborate on this. So, Amar Tripathi, I have one question. Why do you want Coinbase when there's Unocoin? Over to you, Satvik.
Okay. When it comes to the crypto exchanges, especially when you're talking about why someone is there in India and why someone is not there in India, generally we are talking about their ability to easily provide the fiat on ramps and off ramps, right? So where how people can pay Indian rupees into the bank account of the exchanges, and how the exchanges can give that money for supporting the withdrawals, right? So if these two are for these two to be established, you obviously need to have a bank account in India, and to have a bank account in India, then you will actually we should have an entity which is like a private limited, or some kind of deal registered entity, and then that will come with its own compliance and reasons. In fact, Coinbase tried getting into India and providing services last year, but however, because of some UPI mess up that they tried to do and such, they had to stop their service within just a single few days. I mean, just after a few days. and eventually they had to leave India. I still don't think they might have left India for good. There is a possibility that they may come here again. India is a really big country with lot of opportunities for anyone internationally to completely ignore India. But right now, yeah, I think the regulatory compliance and the banking relationships are challenges for most of the international companies to get into India and provide services. But on the other side, like Shambhavi says, why do we need Coinbase in India, right? So there are multiple exchanges here, one being Unocoin, us, who already are here, provide lot of very similar services. To what actually we do, right? So whatever they do to what we do. So to keep it simple, we provide the brokerage trading services. So where with a single click of a button, people will be able to buy and sell the cryptos like Bitcoin, Ether, and USDT. And then we also provide an exchange that provides about 85 or so number of coins where people can place the orders, limit orders and market orders, and get their orders fulfilled. But in fact, I would say we have more than that. So, including, for example, the systematic buying plan. In fact, we started systematic buying plan in 2014, if I remember it right, and Coinbase actually started it like just a couple of years ago, right? So, and then we provide merchant services, and we also provide crypto baskets. I don't think Coinbase provides it yet. So, where people will be able to just buy crypto like mutual funds, a basket of them and such, right? So but all in all, I think if your main aim is to invest into cryptos and capture the gain over a period of time, so which you could do with Coinbase, you could more or less do the similar thing with Unocoin as well. Yeah.
True that, true that. And I think Uno Coin keeps a lot of update of the market that's going there. It keeps it keeps the users informed. Besides, guys, if you don't know this yet, अभी आपने सुना होगा कि पेपे कॉइन काफी ज्यादा चर्चा में आया है हाल में ही ट्विटर पे, क्योंकि उसका जो गेन था वो काफी ज्यादा था, काफी कम समय के अंदर। कहा जा रहा है डॉज को जिसमें 4 साल का समय लग गया, वो इसने 3 हफ्ते के अंदर उस मार्केट कैप को टच कर लिया है। तो अब बहुत लोग पूछ रहे थे कि ये कॉइन कैसे इन्वेस्ट करना है, कहाँ इन्वेस्ट करना है। सो फॉर योर इन्फॉर्मेशन, उनो कॉइन हैज लिस्टेड द पेपे कॉइन, द ब्लॉकबस्टर ऑफ द वीक, if I'm to say this. Also, alongside that, we have also listed Flocky, which is another dog meme coin, if you don't know. So we'll be also giving you some information on that. Do tune into our YouTube channels and all of our social media channels to stay updated on those information. Another question that we have here, Sathvik, is when is the bull run going to come? Now, in the consensus 2023, I'm sure there were a lot of talks about how the price went up from January 1st to, now, and when is the bull run happening?
See, right now, some people actually say it is a bear market. I actually don't think so. It's more like neither bear market nor a bull run. It's kind of quite plus minus stable, is what I see. But we'll remember that in any kind of financial instruments like crypto, it obviously goes through the booms and busts, I think, but after every dip, we usually do see the peak, right? So keeping that in mind, if we have to say getting the price of $69,000 per Bitcoin is the peak, I don't think it is very close by. It could at least be a couple of or few quarters away. Right? That's what it looks like. Right. So, and if you see the early graphs, I mean, especially when it comes to BTC, the peak usually happens the next year after its halving, right? Because 2012 was a halving year, 13 we had a peak, then I think 16 was a halving year, and then we had a peak at 2017, I mean. So then 2020 was a halving year, 21 we saw the $69,000 peak. So the next halving is coming next year, kind of May-ish, or like April, May, I'm guessing. So if we go with that theory, then we should actually start seeing bull run next year. But the real peak should be more like 2025 if the exact same pattern repeats. But what is new or different in this bull run is the number of people who got involved in the last bull run and who continue to join the bandwagon today. So that could actually prepone the bull run by a couple of quarters or maybe a year. So that is to be, I mean, we have to wait and watch. But yeah, so between 3 to 6 quarters, I think it should be there, I think.
True. So I think then gear up for the halving. That's the best I can say because I have already started. Just kidding. Okay, do your own research, guys. We don't give any financial advices. You're smart, you are sensible. So please do your own research before putting your money in crypto. Sathvik, coming to the next question, as I heard also in the little preview of the consensus 2023 we displayed here,
Mhm.
people were talking a lot about the regulatory part.
Mhm.
So, what were the discussions around the regulatory part?
Um, I, I think see the time that has passed in the crypto industry so far, it is quite the time where we can start saying that the industry is kind of approaching its maturity, and that there we have to acknowledge that there are some issues with the industry which technically alone cannot be solved, and we will need the regulators to help us out by putting the regulations in place, what can be done by the citizens and what should not be done by the citizens. So it's super important because when whatever we try to create technically, it's kind of applicable worldwide, right? So whatever is the protocol of Bitcoin, for example, it is exactly same. It is not depending upon a specific country. But however, when it comes to regulations, yes, then there are usually specific to the law of the land, due to which each country have to figure out and carve out what is fine and what is not fine, and come up with such kind of rules. So due to which I think it really becomes super important. For example, when it comes to our country, I definitely don't think there'll be a day when cryptocurrencies gets declared as currencies itself, right? So
True.
it's very unlikely. But there are some countries where it did. For example, in Japan, right, and El Salvador, etc., right? So where they accept it to be a legal tender, etc. So like that, it is very different. So when it is different, then usually the regulators in that own country knows what's good for the country and what is not good for the country, or what is according to the present rules, and if it needs any amendments, or if they just want to go with the same rules that exist to be just applied to the crypto as well, etc. And one of the prerequisites for regulations is you actually want to figure out what are the things that can go wrong, right? So if you don't know what are the things that can go wrong, you cannot have a comprehensive regulation in place. And I believe because the number of issues we have seen, including various rug pulls to scams that we can think of, to using the anonymity side of various coins to uh, hide the details of the transactions, etc. So I mean, like that, we have quite a few challenges, which I definitely acknowledge, and these challenges will be seen by regulators of different countries in a different way. So yes, I think we are at pretty much a much at the timeline, specific point in time where it's super important that we have the regulation so that the crypto should eventually reach the mass, right? So masses. Right now, it is just with say a few percentage of the total worldwide population, but there is a lot of scope for its adoption and to continue growing in terms of how many, I mean, what's the percentage of population which has laid their hands on top of any kind of crypto. So that's only possible through regulation, I think. Yeah.
True that. So, Satvik, we are getting another set of questions here. We are getting a lot of people in the comment section. Beast Motor Wheels is saying hi. So, hi. Manjeet Barnawal is also saying hi. Here we have question from Randhir Kumar Sathvik. He's asking, please suggest me the best meme coin. So for that, obviously, do your own research. But I think Sathvik will give you a little insight about meme coins.
See, this concept of meme coins itself is like start as a joke and as something becomes serious. So what is good, what is bad, we don't know, right? So do you consider Bitcoin to be good or Bitcoin to be bad? I mean, it depends upon with what you are comparing it with, right?
Yeah.
So if you are comparing it with something like government bonds and you're talking about stability, then Bitcoin is bad. But if you're comparing it with meme coins, actually Bitcoin is good, right? So here again, there are multiple meme coins. Some existed since more than 10 years. Some just born out of nowhere within last week. So and those meme coins again usually have its own community and backing, and a lot of times, so far whatever meme coins were successful on day one, it looked like scam, at least in spite, for various factors, some of them have become successful. But yeah, it's customers doing their own research is super important, but doing research on meme coins especially is not easy, because when it is bull market and or bull market for meme coins, people actually are saying it's good, right? So you're not doing the research on technology now, you're just doing the research on price, because it's meme coins, right? So it just uses the normal crypto technology most of times, or maybe the ERC20 tokens standards. So yeah, so it actually makes, I mean, it doesn't make any meme to be good or bad on day one. It is literally a gamble when someone is investing into a meme coin which is not really listed on which is not really listed on any kind of exchanges, and it was just available on maybe on Uniswap or some other such decentralized exchanges. And whether that works in your favor or not, we don't know. We have seen thousands or maybe hundreds of thousands of percentage increase in some meme coins when it works, but there is also, you have to understand, so many people who lost money as well, right? So it comes both sided. It's like super extremely volatile in the nature. Lot of times it may not even have the utility. So it is completely you're trusting, some part the founders, whoever is creating the coin, but also the community. If the community thinks that, yeah, this is like it's not significant enough for them to continue contributing, they just move on to the next one, and you are left with some tokens which is not really worth anything more. Right? So this has happened for most of the meme coins. If I have to talk about meme coins, I think maybe I know all the successful ones, which could be like 4 or 5 of them, right? So the Dogecoin has been the one which comparatively have little bit stabilized as compared to other memes, but still it is meme. Understand that piece, right?
No.
So if you are trying to diversify your crypto portfolio, whatever money you want to dedicate for crypto, I don't think you should dedicate more than 5 or 10% to memes.
Yes, and this is one thing Satvik always says, and the reason is also very appropriate behind that, given that, see, anything you put your money in, it needs to have utility to give you some returns at least. And if it doesn't have any utility, that will be a problem for your investment. And I highly believe the fact that you need to do your own research. Whilst I understand that doing your own research and us saying this all the time can be quite problematic for you, like, okay, kaise karte ho your own research. So, basic step is you can go to our Unocoin YouTube channel. There's a video on how to do your own research. You get some key points that you need to look for while doing your own research. And that way, you can at least start with the most basic step of your crypto journey, which is the research part. And research is not just important in crypto, but I would say in every other asset investment, isn't it, Satvik?
Yeah, of course, that is super true. And when it comes to crypto, people should not invest by taking loans
Yeah,
or
not at all.
whatever is really a requirement for someone's life. So it's on, and they have to literally accept the fact that they may lose all of it, right? So
Yes.
despite whatever is still fine, invest that. I have not seen anyone who have taken more risk than that felt like the risk was worth it. I've never seen anyone like that.
True. That's why, guys, only invest what you can afford to lose. By the way, yeah, always do your own research to avoid losing as such, but just saying. Okay, Satvik, so we were just talking about meme coins. Were there any potential or important piece of discussions about meme coins in this consensus meet?
I cannot remember anything out of my memory, but it is generally like, a lot of times the meme coin creators are also anonymous. That's another tricky part of it.
Yes.
And community is very, very, very like spread across the world, even though there sometimes could be just in few dozens or few hundreds, right?
Mm.
And people talk about utility by giving the explanation about how it is cheaper to send and receive these kinds of memes. But on the other side, one aspect we continue to ignore is with meme coins being so volatile, can it even really become like a currency someday?
Yes,
That's a tricky part. So forget about the fees. Maybe in fees you're saving a couple of dollars. Generally, when we send Bitcoin, right, it's not more than a few hundreds rupees to actually initiate a transaction, right? So, but when it comes to memes, yeah, I agree. It is only few paisas, right?
yes.
Unless it is ERC20 based memes like Flocky or Pepe, whatnot, right? So, while sending them, yes, I do understand it's different the blockchain, and it has to be the gas has to be paid in ether, right? But there are obviously coins like Dogecoin where you really save a lot of money when you are doing a transactions, very negligible amount of money. But the stability is still a question, I think. So that obviously is one big aspect that we continue to see. But apart from that, the well, people do talk about how one have their own smaller community where it can support meme coins, and they can create one of their own because it's not too complicated to create one, and the technology is so open source. But that is the exact reason why people should be more careful. It is easy to create one. It's easy to create one. As long as you have a small following of maybe few hundreds of developers or community members, it's easy to make something look realistic when it is not real, and it loses its value in like no time without any utility. Yeah, careful.
True, 100% true. So, Randhir, when you're talking about meme coins, I hope you keep all these points in your mind next time you're going to maybe, explore, invest, or put your money in meme coins. Another question we have from Ranbir again. He's asking any impact of BRC20 on BTC chain. So, Ranbir, we will be having a very extensive session on this whole BRC20 thing, the network congestion that happened last week, and then of course the lightning network adoption and all of these stuff in detail on Tuesday. But for now, since you've asked this question, I think Satvik will be happy to give a little quick overview of the impact you are asking about.
Yeah, so I think in Jan this year it is when the Bitcoin ordinals protocol when it got raised. That's what actually enabled non-fungible tokens to be written on satoshis, right? So what that means is, let's say if I have 100 rupees and if you have 100 rupees and we just swap it, it doesn't it means like there is no impact of value of what I had before and what you had before. But now let's say I take a 100 rupees note and I do an autograph on top of it, for argument's sake, and then I give it to you and you give the blank one to me. Then what I gave you is different from what you gave to me because the one that I gave you have an autograph on top of it, which is like a signature, right? So in that way, it's called non-fungibility, right? So one cannot be one is not exactly same as the other, but it has some kind of properties which is kind of different. But once this protocol got enabled on the Bitcoin ordinal. So this led to one of the developer or programmer called Domo. So to come up with this kind of BRC20, which is similar to ERC20, just after 2 months, which was like in the month of March, if I remember it right. So once the BRC20 token standards got established, there were obviously a lot of projects which came out on top of it, which is like the ERC20 kind of projects. So one of it is called RD. So and then it's actually followed by many other tokens actually, in fact, and a few of them were these kinds of meme coins as well. So however, because of these new tokens on top of Bitcoin blockchain, and the transactions were happening, the 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 ability for a particular transaction to just get into a blockchain got expensive, right? So which means, let's say generally per 10 minutes about 500 transactions were happening, but because of this particular BRC20 tokens, now we started seeing uh, like maybe 5,000 transactions happening, right? So what that means is now people have to pay more in the fees if they want their transaction to be recorded on the blockchain, because it'll actually become competitive. So due to which the network got congested. It can only accommodate X amount of transactions every 10 minutes. And the just because everyone is trying to get their transaction into blockchain, people started paying higher and higher fees, and the fees went up as much as about 40, 50, $60. Even now as we speak, I think it's standing at around $60 or so, which is like 0.002 BTC, which is significantly high.
Hmm.
So yeah, this is where it is. I think it would be temporary. We have seen similar issues happening with Ethereum blockchain as well 3 years ago, when when certain token got released, when too many transactions and so on, when people are claiming some kind of tokens from various websites and DeFi projects, decentralized projects, etc. So I think this could be temporary, but yeah, just that what we need to understand now is NFTs is possible on Bitcoin blockchain as well, and even ERC20 similar protocol exists on the blockchain as Bitcoin blockchain as well. So that's the key takeaway. Yeah, it's little bit congested and fees is high, but both will get corrected maybe in a week or so.
I think that's amazing. The way we see RC20 token, now they are going to be BRC20 tokens, and it's actually very amazing to see, because for the Bitcoin enthusiasts, this is the biggest thing that has, I think, come up in the recent years. So we will be talking about this and in detail, and we will take all your questions on Tuesday. So do not forget to tune in right at 5 p.m. on any channel that you find comfortable, honestly. So we are available everywhere for you guys. Talking about the consensus meet again, Sathvik, the market works on sentiments. When we see the crypto market, the bearish sentiment, the bullish sentiment. So, what were the sentiment kind when you were, witnessing this consensus meet? How was the enthusiasm? How was the sentiment of the people?
I think it was a mixed feeling this time. So it is just like I said, it is neither the bullish nor the bearish kind of market, right? So they obviously are excited that I mean, as every passing day, we are getting closer to something like bull run. So that was definitely visible, and also people take time during these kinds of stable markets and bearish markets to build different projects, right? So big bull market actually makes everyone super busy with too many moving parts, but now is the time where if someone want to come up with a project which has, I mean, which actually has a legitimate purpose. I think this is the kind of time they should have to do it, or else yes, it's the sentiment is more in terms of keeping it completely optimistic, and I would say even enthusiastic of what's like going to come. And a lot of people actually, obviously, it's this conference happened in Austin, right? So people are flying from all across the world. So they really want to understand what else is happening in the industry. So that is the key answer that people try to search for in these kinds of conferences. And I believe their enthusiasm was not disappointed. I think so. It's about the excitement they continue to have for the future of the blockchain and cryptocurrency industry, I think.
I think it's always a lot of enthusiasm when it comes to such meets, be it the Miami one. By the way, the Miami one is also a big talk of the town. We'll be talking about it later in one of our AMS for sure. But for now, Satvik, if we talk about some major announcements, so according to you, which was the biggest announcement, the biggest trumpet that was blown that day about some certain project or something?
I can remember a few, right? So, one is the CEO of Circle, Jeremy Allaire. So, he actually discussed about the need for stable coin to be backed by short-term treasury bills rather than just commercial banks, and making it backed by short-term treasury bills will reduce the risk and give protection to users. So he was more talking about the how the banks could go bankrupt, right? So in US, it's not very rare nowadays. We have seen like 4 or 5 of them, which are like quite major in nature, face this issue. So now he thinks that, it's obviously it's also coming because this particular company Circle was serviced by uh, the Silicon Valley Bank, right? So and then the bank itself had to shut down,
Yes.
and due to which they have a lot to figure out, I think. And Circle actually had their own stable coin called USDC. So I can only imagine the amount of mess they could have faced when such a major bank they were banking with had to give up. So then I think when it comes to traditional asset managers promoting crypto, I can talk about the Franklin Templeton, so which announced the launch of its Benji Money. That's what they call it. It's actually a Benji Money Market Fund on the cryptos Stellar and Polygon network, and it kind of shows us the interest of traditional asset managers in the cryptocurrency space. I don't think Franklin Templeton have done anything much when it comes to the crypto in the past. So this probably could be the first time where they want to launch their own money market fund on a crypto blockchain, right? So then again, it's highlights about the regulatory debates, especially which country is better, which country is not for various projects, and especially the regulatory conflicts in US. So where the SEC and CFTC continue to have been adding more and more opaqueness to what is crypto and what comes under whose regulation. So because of those confusions continue to ramp up, now the industry experts, co-founders of various companies and compliance officers, including enforcers, so they're literally looking for more clarity to know how do you identify a particular crypto is a security or not, right? So that's the biggest question. So that particular question was answered in different ways in the past, again by the officers of the same regulators, which is the SEC and CFTC. But however, now the new ones who have stepped in have a little bit different point of view, and giving a different statement, which actually makes it super tough for one to understand where the industry stands in the country. I think so. Regulatory wise, yeah, this was like one of the important ones. And then there's actually one of the former chairman of US and CFTC, so who emphasized the importance of public opinion in the development of CBDCs and stable coins. and he also speaks about the recognition on privacy concerns surrounding these kinds of digital assets. So, in the simple words, so they're talking about the privacy concerns. If there is CBDC, then what privacy concerns exist, and they're comparing with various other cryptos in nature, and says why digital assets like cryptos have some concerns. Obviously, they're regulators. So it is eventually them who will have to come up with how they want to deal with it in that particular country. So or else it's lot of I would say private parties, so where different projects that gets that keeps throwing private parties for their own community members and such. So where if you have an invite, you actually get to meet a lot of people of that specific project and discuss what they actually think in the future and such. And a lot of these companies look at this kind of conferences as a method to get various community members together in one place, right? So because a lot of them are working from home from various countries, so these conferences at this level of this reputation helps them to just like go to one place, meet each other, to discuss about various prospect and events. And it usually is 2 3 4 days long, most of conferences. This one was 3 days long though. Yeah, and then just go back home.
True. So, Satvik, out of all of these amazing points, amazing announcements, something that has just caught my attention is the part where this person, I can't recall the name exactly that you mentioned, this person who mentioned that there is need for public opinion when it comes to the CVDC part. And I strongly agree with them. I strongly agree with them.
Yeah,
Honestly, because I
talking about Christopher.
Yes, Christopher. So personally, I don't see much of utility when it comes to CBDCs because it's what just digital money, digital form of a currency, certain fiat currency. But then, of course, this is the way of governments to implement blockchain into their system. And yes, just yes, we never know. So, yeah, that was the highlight for me, particularly. So, now since you're talking about governments and CBDC, Satvik, did you see any significant presence, representation from India, or any strong stance by India in this particular meet?
That is tough. I definitely see Indians, but I don't know if they're coming from India. Most of the crypto projects actually do have Indians in them. A lot of times at the top part of management or top vice presidents or directors, etc. And one of the reasons why they actually prefer Indians, I think, is because
We are smart.
oh, I mean that is like one part of it, but sometimes I think uh, they actually know how to save money, I guess, as compared to the companies in US. So they're very planned in spending money while they grow the companies. So yeah, in that way you will not know. You will not know. Um, and also there will obviously be a lot of private discussions, which obviously, I mean, I have no clue about some of the projects. Obviously, will be in India, so they're trying to figure out what they want to do in India. There is also a very good chance that a lot of Indians actually went to Dubai and established companies there. So you could really say it's Indian established company, but it's no more belonging to India kind of situation. So some of the regulations in India is not friendly enough for anyone innovative to completely base their company here, and it's also a little bit of moving landscape, which makes it even more complicated. Right, so whatever looks fine today may not look fine in 3 years, so that makes it tricky. So they obviously choose jurisdictions which are more lenient in nature and easy to change the jurisdiction if there is a need to. So yeah, in that way, we as Indians would have lost some talented people, talented projects, good projects. But the good thing is, yes, I definitely see Indians everywhere. Yeah.
We Indians have always been everywhere. What is it said? I think back in 2010, it was said that every fourth face in New York City is an Indian. So, like this, if we see post 10 years, the number would have increased significantly. Okay, so now we have Gangadhar who's saying hi in the comment section. Hi, Gangadhar. There's Ritual Spark who's also saying hi. Guys, if you have any questions, do let us know in the same comment box where you greeted us so nicely. Also, do bring in your friends to educate them about crypto because this is something that you should know. If you're here, that's an advantage for you. Reason being, it is a growing market and it's just like, reading the chapter before the class even starts. So it's like that. Talking about consensus again, Satvik, what were some major exciting things that you would say because we saw this nice quick glance about the whole meet that happened. So what was the most exciting thing according to you that you witnessed in this meet?
How it's tough to actually pick one or the other topic, I would say. But I think the enthusiasm itself to see that was exciting, right? So then obviously the way people are looking at the industry, as in how optimistic and enthusiastic they were for like what's happening next, was exciting. But then I think few of those topics also looked at integration with other advanced topics, like for example artificial intelligence, etc. So, and because now people don't need to literally write programs anymore, they can use tools like chat gpt to do the spot contracts, the smaller ones. So where you just tell what you want and it actually writes the contract for you and such. So now it's kind of deployment of smart contracts, or trying to analyze what a specific smart contract means, is no more the programmer's job. Anyone can do it. So that's like one thing, which actually is like a good thing. And also I think people continue to highlight the fact that uh, the crypto even today is complicated, right? So in spite of how much ever new interfaces do come to make it simpler, at the same pace there are also new things that are getting developed on top of crypto, right? So development at a base layer is very different from how do you make it accessible by a common man. I think this particular gap, I would say, is kind of widening day by day, which actually means we will need much more people working on crypto projects to reduce that particular gap. And we are, like I said, could be just a few percentage of the entire world who believe in this particular concept, but our challenge is to convince the rest. And that can only happen if you really make the concepts, the interface, as much easy as possible. And that is where the lot of the efforts should be focused on. So yeah, that was like great thing to hear. Maybe in about 2-3 years, if people take this seriously and build better interfaces for people to understand the new things about crypto, that would be like one great thing. So then we are also talking about how the present blockchain and its technology should be abstracted, right? So which means, how do you keep it far away but still take the advantage of it? And even there was a lot of excitement about the opportunity of layer 2, because a lot of protocols already have their established user base here around the world, right? So then comes to the layer 2, which is trying to solve the interoperability and scalability challenges. So there again there is a lot of scope for it. So people were super excited about that as well, I think. Yeah, so these are few things that I can quickly remember. Yeah.
Satvik, you were just talking about AI and Chat GPT, and also in the preview that we put before our AMA started, there was one anchor I remember. She asked the AI if you are going to take our jobs. So, for the future of AI and crypto, because of course AI and crypto are two technologies that are emerging rapidly. If we talk about AI, what do you see in the future in connection to AI and the IT and fintech industries as such, in terms of opportunities, in terms of lack of opportunities?
So I think humans are forcefully required to become smarter now, um, because I mean, still AI cannot completely replace humans within like next 10 years itself. I think, but however, it will be a really challenging time. So where one person can do five people's job, so which also means so lot of opportunities have to get explored. So we had a um, very similar dilemma, or I would say the threat, when computers were invented, right? So, and when computers started becoming popular, oh my God, will computer takes our job because it can do a lot of things faster. But that is not what happened. What happened instead was it opened up a huge new multi-billion dollar industries across the world, and it needed much more people. And eventually, all of that led to some kind of disruption, some kind of like digital revolution, I would say, right? So we could not see when computers became popular what it could eventually lead to. In the similar way, we cannot actually see what can the artificial intelligence presently, whatever we know, will eventually lead to. But however, we should be prepared that one person, if they can do the job of three or four or five people, and then it actually means he's becoming smarter, and the rest are also required to become smarter so that they can be doing some other job, which again could be using AI. So it speeds up, essentially, it speeds up the progress. So what we can achieve in 5 years, maybe we can achieve in two, because the artificial intelligence, which are like systems which have all knowledge in the world, are helping us figure out the things. But specifically speaking, I would say like two three things where it will be of significant importance. So one is analysis of smart contracts and writing the smart contracts. So these kinds of AI tools should be able to do better job than just the humans itself. And then helping someone to manage their crypto portfolios, and to warn them when it is going out of proportion, or if they are taking unwanted risks, etc. So, and it also will be helping in simplifying the whatever the crypto terminologies and crypto write-ups, so that the simplified version of it is more understandable by like a 12-year-old or a common man, right? So I think these are a few of the things where the AI could be of immediate help for the crypto industry, but I still think a lot of it we don't know. It should only be uncovered as we move on.
True that. I think people are very, scared at the same time. Very, what do I say? They're just predefining the things that haven't even happened, and it just I feel like it's helpful. The AI, it's helpful in a lot of manners. So instead of being scared, I think we should learn to utilize in a more positive direction. Moving forward, Satvik, about this whole consensus meet that we discussed, major thing happened, and a lot of people said so many things. What do you think is the impact on future of this consensus meet? Because when people come together, they have opinions, they have ideas. It comes together again, and then of course we expect something to happen. Do we expect something to happen from this consensus meet?
Um, I think definitely community building is happening, and that is like a very key component for the crypto industry to continue flourishing. Crypto industry is extremely fragmented in nature. People are working from various parts of the world. A lot of times they might have never met at all in their lifetime, and all they have the communication is through so Google Meet or Zoom calls, right? But what we can still say is as of today, the crypto industry is growing. So these things is adding up to that growth, accelerating that particular growth, and eventually, you know, uh, I mean, people just don't want to live totally digitally, also, right? So this is one of the events where they can meet people, especially other community members of similar or same projects. I think so. Overall, all of this combined, it can only lead to something good. So which is like the growth of a community, which leads to growth of a particular project, which leads to growth of a token or a specific crypto, making the complete crypto industry better. So yeah, I think when it comes to blockchain as a technology as well. So these kinds of conferences throws light on what has happened so far and what they want to do, and this is also a good platform for seeking validation of new projects.
Yes.
Right, so that is like one other advantage you can get, because you can actually get, and it's also a good opportunity to meet similar minded programmers, similar minded content bloggers, content creators, YouTubers. So you'll actually find like everyone, right? So this is like a industry wide networking event, which actually like brings people together, I think. So in that way, it's like super helpful, and especially for people who are new to the industry, these kinds of events is like a must and should. They should go once or twice to start establishing some kind of networks, and then it should grow on its own, right? So I think that's what I think is like super important. The future. But this can only make the future brighter and better. So these kinds of conferences, I think. Yeah.
Yes, I totally agree. I think community building is something which is very essential and which is actually build the whole Web3 aura, the vibe, I would say. We meet people, we talk about it, we see that, oh, our thoughts are so similar, and that's where we connect, and that's how things grow even further. So, on this note, I think we'll be ending our EMA for today. Thank you, Satvik, for so many exclusive highlights for me, for our users, whosoever is watching this AMA. It was a totally amazing and insightful event. Again, guys, for BRC20 token, I know all of you want to know a lot about this, so make sure that you tune in at 5 p.m. on Tuesday to know everything that is there about BRC20 token and the whole Lightning network adoption, everything that's going on. So we'll see you on Tuesday. Till then, bye bye. Keep following Unocoin. And of course, stay tuned. Bye bye.
Thank you, Shavi. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Satvik.